Welcome to Gward and the Idiot Squad, and today we are going over what I'll be playing in Gward for this week, for tomorrow's streamer event. Remember to hit the subscribe button and to leave a comment if you like to play. These are going to be the next two videos on my channel. It's been rough getting videos out, but we're still getting them done. So let's see what I've got. So, most people on this channel know me for my combo tricks. If you want to know more about that, I did Esper Exile way back when, and that proved to be a powerful archetype. And then on the Throne of Eldraine, streamer event, I did Cauldron Cat before anyone else did it. And so, let's see what I've got to go with the flame. So first one is a Draw Matters deck, and I experimented this on Throne of Eldraine, but there were some cards that were lacking, like a bunch of cards that can deal a lot of damage when we discard cards, and also that a lot of the cards from Throne were not good at what they did. So because the draw 2 and then get nothing afterwards was a problem. And so let's go through 3 new cards that would be made into this new deck. We're going to put in Ominous Seas, which is a 1 blue enchantment that reads, whenever you draw a card, put a foreshadow counter on Ominous Seas. Remove 8 of these counters from Ominous Seas and create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token, which is just infinite creatures as long as you can draw that many. And how the heck we're going to draw some of them? Well, we play cards like Cathartic Reunion, where as an additional cost to cast a spell, we discard 2 cards and we draw 3 cards, which is not that bad. We can get rid of a lot of stuff that our hand is lacking, and we can get into our better things, and we can get more Krakens onto the board. And then we have Really the Everwise. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. This happens all the time. Chandra the Chandra. I've been commenting multiple times on that one. Riley the Everwise gets a +1/+0 for each instant sorcery card in her graveyard. And whenever I discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many turns. So now our discard effects are going to be gas compared to what we have. And what old cards are we going to add? Well, a lot of the discard cards and a lot of the instant cards are less than 3 mana. So we can actually run some pretty powerful stuff. For instance, we can run Opt, where we can look at the top card of our library. We can basically scry 1 and then draw a card. That's an old version of Opt. We can play Thrill of Possibilities, which has an additional cost of the spell. Discard a card and draw 2 cards. This helps us fill up our graveyard for Rally, and it also helps us get that draw-in engine for Ominous of the Seas. And then we have a Flying Haste Artlight Phoenix, that at the beginning of our combat, on your turn, if you cast 3 or more instant and sorcery spells this turn, return this guy to the battlefield from the graveyard. And I think that's very important. So basically this is a big storm deck that wants to curve out at turn 4-5. So, now that we went into that archetype, let's go into another archetype that has now been boosted a little bit since the Ikoria spoilers has come out. And I was looking at these going, man, time to throw a cat in the oven. Deck 2, Mayhem Cat. We love sacrificing our kitty cats to make food. Why not we do it more? So, what kind of cards will I be running? Obosh, the Prey Seer, has Companion. your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards, which means that we're going to have to get rid of Croxus, but that's not really important here. If this card is your chosen companion, and you may cast it once from outside the game. So we're going to be running 3 in our main deck and 1 on our side. But keep in mind that all the cards that are sacrificed, most of them cost 1 and 3. This is the major mana cost. So we have like things like Woe Strider and Cauldron Familiar and Mayhem Devil and Murderous Rider. Stuff like those really help get this guy in. And even our Oven works towards this. And then it reads, if a source you control would deal with an odd mana cost, would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to target permanent or player instead. Okay. So now we're dealing more damage whenever we sacrifice a thing. We're dealing more damage whenever we do it. It's just doing more and more and more and more and more. And then we run cards like Bastion of Remembrance. This is a hard to remove enchantment that whenever it enters the battlefield, we create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Great sacrifice fodder. We need sacrifice fodder. And then it says whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this actually helps us with our Cat Oven deck. We now don't have to play Ayora, which is very easy to destroy. We could still play Ayora, but here's the thing. Ayora can really die on a battlefield. Bastion of Remembrance can still stick around for a few turns, and usually last throughout the whole game, without even being touched. So this card can literally stick onto a battlefield and start pinging our opponents to death. And then something like Obosh can make it even worse. Because whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And I think that's very important to remember. And then what old cards are we going to add? Well, we talked about these 2 cards a lot. Cauldron Familiar and the Witch's Oven combo usually help the deck run its gears and help it get situated. There's Woe Strider we can add. We can add Fabled Passages and stuff like that to help with the sacrifice element. And then we run cards like Mayhem Devil, which means whenever something dies or gets sacrificed, we do even more damage. So things like Murderous Rider, for example, can really get an effect in here. Those are the 2 main deck types I will be playing. In the comments below, go ahead and tell me what deck types you would like to see. I know a lot of people wanted to see Mutate, but the problem with Mutate, in my mind, is that it's 1 creature. And in the state of the metagame right now, 1 creature is an easy target versus multiple. If this came out before Throne, I would say, okay, definitely. But, especially not right now, is a good way to put it. Maybe after the set rotates, Mutate will be better. But for right now, I just don't see it being very powerful. But cycling can. Cycling is this mechanic when, I'll go back to this Omesis Seas, which has an additional ability where you can cycle it from your hand by paying 2. It's basically, if this card is, you really need it out of your hand, you're like low on land drops, you need something, you can pay 2, get it out, discard this card, and then draw. So it may help in the long run. Anyway, thank you for joining me on Guardian News Rod. Look at my channel. I will have posted videos either by Wednesday or late at night Tuesday for me. So keep an eye out for that. And hey, stay happy, especially in these horrible times. Anyway, bye!